Good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Welcome to another episode of Karina Live. Just catching up on what is going on in the Zimbabwean political arena. It is a pity that we are seeing that the 2030 ED agenda is something which they are not going to let go, and they're pulling every trick under their sleeves so that they will make sure that it becomes a success. Opamchinguri has announced that not every ZANU-PF member is being invited to this year's Congress, like the other Congress which ZANU-PF have held since independence, and this one is an exception. And the exception is because they want to make sure that ED 2030 agenda is a success. And this is to all those provincial chairpersons, whether women or men. You are allowing yourselves to be used, forgetting that the future of Zimbabwe belongs to everyone who lives in it. It doesn't belong to only one family of Mnangagwa. You are equally suffering. The only thing you carry is the bragging around, is the title to say chairman, chairwoman, or this, just the title, but with nothing to show for it. And what will become of you? How are your families going to be judged in Zimbabwe when you are gone? What is your legacy as men and women of ZANU-PF? We know all this is all about paid service. You are being paid so that you can pave way for Mnangagwa and his family to be looting, to give them the free will to do corruption, to kill, to loot, and disrespect everyone in Zimbabwe. It is a pity that the most disadvantaged of all are the youth. But the youth are the very same people who are at the forefront saying ED 2020. If I ask you guys, you call yourself youth. These old madalas, when they came back from the in 1980, most of them were younger than you. Some of you are now in your 40s, you're now in your 50s, but you are telling yourself that you are youths. What do you have to show? Just the regalia. Just the intimidation you are known about in the communities. What is the future for your children? What is the future of your own selves? Most of you don't even have your own places to live. You're still living in parents' houses. But you are willing to do anything to safeguard Mnangagwa family. It is a pity that you can't even open your eyes. It is a pity that the abuse by the Mnangagwa family is like it's a norm which has been accepted within ZANU-PF youth, ZANU-PF women's wing, anybody in ZANU-PF. The abuse has been normalized. Why can't they just change ZANU-PF to say Mnangagwa family? Because as of the party, there's nothing for the masses of Zimbabwe. There's nothing for ZANU-PF supporters. There is nothing for a mere person who is supporting ZANU-PF right now. It is all about Mnangagwa, his family, his extended family, and friends. When are we going to say as a nation, enough is enough of these people? As within ZANU-PF, when are we going to hear young voices condemning all this? Where are you, the young voices within ZANU-PF? You cannot tell me that you are happy with the mere pretense whereby you are paid to chant, do slogans, intimidate people. Even all those who might be thinking that they've got gold, they've got this. Where are you paying the gold to? The same family, Mnangagwa family. When are we people of Zimbabwe going to wake up? When are people of ZANU-PF going to take the reins of their party so that this cannot continue? It is a pity, but it's continuing. And now, Mukanya Chiwenga appear like he's been silenced. Mukanya Chiwenga, you created this demon called Emerson Mnangagwa, and now you are quiet. The nation is corrupt. Everywhere there's corruption. The people are suffering. Right now, there's news to say the big supermarkets in Zimbabwe, OK, TM, they want to shut down because it is no longer feasible to be a straightforward business person in Zimbabwe. So, if all these shops are going to shut down, is Zimbabwe going to be known as a shop whereby people, they don't even know what they are eating? Everything has gone below standards. Everything in Zimbabwe has gone to the dogs. There is no consumer protection. No one is safeguarding the consumers. People, they eat what they don't even know what is coming. Most of the foods are imported. And are they safe for human consumption? Yes, we have seen Benson Matinyarare making noise about chicken in. Yes, he's got a point that the people of Zimbabwe are served foods which are contaminated with the hazardous things. But the problem with Benson Matinyarare is where his argument is starting from. You can't start from a luxury. How many people in Zimbabwe can afford to eat chicken in? If you wanted to make a noise, yes, you've got a point. The food in Zimbabwe is not safe for human consumption. It's contaminated with unknown hazardous substances. There's no consumer council to protect, to regulate the industry. Even if we look at public health, what are they doing? Are they doing even inspections? Are they testing all these foods? No, nothing is functional in Zimbabwe. So if a nation does not have a functional healthcare system, how do you expect Benson Matinyarare for them to care about what the people are eating? Remember, the same hospitals now which are mushrooming in Harare across Zimbabwe, they belong to the same mafia at the helm of Zimbabwe. So they would rather feed people poison so that people will continue to be sick and not focusing on the looting they are doing. And they'll come back again to their same hospitals to overcharge them. And they'll be killed with those cancers and kidneys. Like we have seen that in Zimbabwe now, there's a high rise of cancer, kidney failure. And it's the same mafia of Emerson Mnangagwa. It's the same mafia of Emerson Mnangagwa who are running chicken in. They're the same people, they will contaminate the food. You will go and buy the food. Well, when you have struggled to get that money, they will charge you in US dollar. You will go and buy their hazardous food stuff. You will get sick. When you get sick, there's no government hospital to treat you. You are forced to go to a private place to do the medical test in US dollar. You are forced again to go to their small hospitals, which are below standard, and they'll be charging you as well in US dollar once you are not getting good care. That is the Zimbabwe, Benson Matinyarare. We have warned you and you are supporting and defending them. I like how you were told by Chris Mutsvangwa that you are just a noisemaker. If you want to start from where the corruption in terms of food is coming from, it's starting from below, from the rice people are buying, from even the cubes, the seasoning cubes, where they are buying. Most of the seasoning cubes in Zimbabwe, they are even banned, especially those ones the Nigerians are bringing in as Maggi cubes from Nigeria. Even here, they've been banned. And they are branded here as contraband because they've got a substance which cannot be for human consumption. They are there on the market, those things I'm talking about. So you cannot just start by arguing about a luxury. Chicken in Zimbabwe is a luxury. There are some people who doesn't even have who doesn't even know a taste of chicken in. What we must aim in Zimbabwe is that we need quality service from the bottom going up. Fast foods are bad for health. We can even take a piece of bread in Zimbabwe from bakers in and test it for salts and sugars. And you'll be amazed how much salts and sugars are which are more than what a human is supposed to take per day. So when we want quality food, it shouldn't be about just screaming about chicken in. You should talk about even the rice which is being sold in Zimbabwe. Is it rice or is plastic rice? You should be talking about the corned beef which is sold in Zimbabwe. Is it beef or something else? It's other meats which people cannot identify. Even if it's vegetables, how are they grown? That's where we are supposed to start from, not just to be screaming there. Even the maize meal. People, we should be looking at those things. You can't just start screaming about chicken in. There's so many hazardous goods in Zimbabwe, from soap, lotions, skincare products, food. And our people are getting sick after struggling to get the US dollar to buy that food. They have to go back again to the same mafia, to their hospitals, and struggle again to get the US dollar to pay them at exorbitant prices for healthcare. That's the Zimbabwe where we are. And for how long will this continue? That Emerson Mnangagwa and these people must continue to treat every Zimbabwean less human than them. And this is a challenge to every Zimbabwean, whether ZANU-PF, CCC, or whatever you want to call yourself. We cannot accept this abuse. This abuse has gone on for a long, long time. It is also shocking that a judge has to say that platinum, chrome, there are not minerals. So they mustn't pay any duties for Zimbabwe. So they're just being looted. The environment, it's a mess. Everywhere is wars. What is Zimbabwe benefiting? The jobs, they are coming with their own people. They are mining our minerals. They take them out without paying anything. Nothing beneficial to the communities. The people living in those areas, they are faced with environmental challenges. And nobody's talking about it. And that judge, and it is the same Emerson Mnangagwa and this family who is looting all these out of the country. Our judiciary is broken. Our judiciary is corrupt. No one can save the children of Zimbabwe from Emerson Mnangagwa. For how long? And those men in uniform, they are just looking hopelessly whilst they are being cowed. Even those ones who are replacing those ones who are being killed, your day will come. Every dog is got his day. You'll be killed as well, just like those who elevated him. Right now, you'll be used on this 2030 agenda. After the 2030 agenda, you get rid of you because he wants to use the other people for the next round so that his family, his sons can rise at the helm. So no one is safe around him. So if you think ED is your friend, ED is not loyal to anyone. He's loyal to himself. For how long are you going to protect Emerson Mnangagwa and his family? How long, Zimbabwe? How can we say this is acceptable that people in Zimbabwe, they go to school, but they have to go, as soon as somebody finishes school, there's nothing left in Zimbabwe. You have to be in diaspora. For how long? We are busy building other nations whilst our nation is broken. For how long? Are we the educated cowards? Are we the educated fools who are just good at lip service? Who are we Zimbabweans? And thank you once again for joining in today. And we shall remain focused on what is happening in our country. With all this, what is happening, a dysfunctional economy. Very soon, if SPAR and all these other big supermarkets decide to call it a day, what's next? What is next? They told us that Zimbabwe is open for business. But Zimbabwe is not open for business. Zimbabwe is closed for business. The little that we had, They are shutting down. They are leaving the country. The ones who are there right now are the looters of Emerson Mnangagwa. Any straightforward business person or company have left Zimbabwe or have shut down. They've called it a day. And they told us Zimbabwe is open for business. Which business? The Emerson Dambudzo rotten business? Is that what Zimbabwe is open for? The business for corruption? The business for looting? Is that what Zimbabwe is open for? And I've seen people sharing images of videos of Wikinochivayo. It is a pity you can't even look that he looked weird around those people. He looked like a fool, like a doofus. He might have the looted money, but he's got no class. Wikinochivayo is typical class. The money he has looted cannot buy him class. He is class. That's what he is. And he appears untouchable. He is looting. He can come, spend the money in Europe, and show off, and nobody's touching him. Yet he's a criminal. And people are busy sharing and saying Chibaba. Chibaba to somebody who is depriving you of clean, safe water, of a regular supply of electricity. Somebody who is denying you access to healthcare, and you call that person Chibaba. Why, Zimbabweans? Why? So, thank you once again for joining in. Thank you once again for joining in on this episode of Karina Live. And the truth is that Emerson Mnangagwa must go. He is not fit for purpose. Opamchinguri, you might want to protect him. We know your history. Your history, there's nothing to write home about. Opamchinguri. So, that is all I can say for today. That Emerson Mnangagwa must go. Out he must go. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for joining in, and have a pleasant week ahead.